After Madrid, then Paris, the Prime Minister visited war-torn Ukraine overnight. You saw that there, touring Kyiv and surrounding areas. He later pledged a further $100 million in support, 20 more Bushmasters, drones and armoured personnel carriers. Let's get our head around how this trip has gone, both on the ground and perceptions here in Australia, with the National Editor at The Australian, Dennis Shanahan. Welcome, as always, Dennis. Good to see he got to Ukraine. We all thought he might, but it was obviously dependent on security advice. But coming out of that NATO meeting, largest ever NATO meeting, lots of commentary about Ukraine. How on earth do we bring this to an outcome for Ukraine that doesn't end up just appeasing where Russia has come into their border, and we know Russia is occupying quite a bit of territory. Some are saying in international press over the weekend that's where they should just draw the line. That's now Russia, that's now Ukraine, and have this sort of peace deal done. Ukrainians reject that. They don't want Russia in their country. But how on earth do you get that outcome if it's just the Ukrainians fighting the fight?
Yes, look, I think that the brutal reality is that Russia is strangling Ukraine. It's been a very bloody, slow war, a war of attrition, but every time Ukraine tries to take a breath, the boa constrictor of Putin squeezes that bit tighter to get his ultimate aim, and that is to isolate the Ukraine from the ocean, from the sea. And that's what's going to happen. And once that happens, Ukraine will have to make some sort of a deal with Russia. It will be a bloody victory for Russia. It will have cost it a great deal in the long term, but in the short term, what it has done is united NATO. It's increased the size of NATO. It's got the rest of the European and US looking at Asia and China as a combined Russian-Chinese threat. And so I think that in the longer term, Putin will actually regret this invasion of Ukraine, although he will be able to claim at some stage a victory of sorts and a victory of his own target.